Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to scale and copy your graph for part 2 of our Pendulum lab. So on the part 2 data sheet, under questions it says sketch the graph on the axes below. Be sure to label each axis with the appropriate values. What that means is to make sure that you scale your graph because you're going to need real numbers and real data in order to answer the following questions. So your goal is to get a graph that looks something like this, where it's got nice curves at the top and the bottom. Now this isn't perfect, but I can work with this. Okay. Now notice also the numbers on the bottom, 0.0 right here on the left, 5.0 right here on the right. Those are my time codes. So it recorded for 5 seconds from 0 to 5 seconds. You don't need that entire time. You need at least, I would say, 2 seconds, which would be right about here. 2.5 if you can fit it, but at least 2. And then up here on my y-axis is my position. How far away from the motion detector was my pendulum? So my low point is 0.20, but notice the graph doesn't go that far. So that's not my real low number that I need. And then at the top, 0.40. Again, my graph doesn't go that high, so I don't necessarily need to make my y-axis go that high. I certainly could if I wanted to, but it's better if your graph can fill the entire, or if your line can fill the entire graph. So let's start with, okay, what do I do now? I'm only going to get maybe the first 2 seconds of this, okay? And so I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to say that I want my graph to go from 0 to about 2 seconds. So I can go ahead and label this corner over here as 0 for time. Oh, sorry. And I'm going to go on and label that as 0. And then I want to go up. So I'm going to count my lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I can count this as 13. So I have 13 lines. So I come to my calculator, and I know I have 2.0 seconds divided by 13 lines to fit it in. And that gives me 0.1538, blah, 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 blah. Well, I don't want to count by 0.15s. I want to count by 0.2s. So 0.2 is going to be my scale for my x-axis. So each one of these lines, 0.2, 4, 6, 8, this is 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2. Now remember, this is as far as I want it to go, but I can keep going, or I can stop right there. I'm going to go ahead and keep going because, again, I think it's nice when your graph fills the entire section, but it's totally up to you. Okay, so at least up to 2. Now notice there's 13 lines, so if I had counted by 0.1, I would have gotten half of that, so I would have only gotten up to 1.3 seconds. If I did 0.05 like the LabQuest counts by, I would have gotten even less than that. So you can't just do it by what numbers show up on the LabQuest. You have to look at what space is available to you. So scaling the time graph, that's the easy part, or the time axis, excuse me. Up and down here, you're going to have your position. That's going to be a little bit trickier. So we'll go back to our graph. We know it's going to be somewhere between 0.2 and 0.4. Now I could just use those two numbers, but I want to make mine a little bit more specific. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to look at this little XY guy. That's my data chart. Okay. Now notice that it tells me my time, my position, it gives me all kinds of other stuff. But I just want time and position. And I'm going to start at 0 seconds. So what I'm looking for here is the highest position and the lowest position, because I want to know how far did it go away from the motion detector and how close did it get to the motion detector. So I'm going to just look at this column. all the way down to 2.6 seconds because that's how far my graph is. So I've got a 0.249. That's the lowest on this screen. See if it goes any lower than 0.249. 0.249 again. 0.249 again, up to there. So 0.249 is the lowest that I see. So I'm going to just write that down so I remember. And I'm going to scroll back up and see if I can find the highest point. So 0.355, okay, right here, 0.355. And still that's the highest one, 0.355. Pretty close, so my highest is 0.355.